Welcome to IQD Dinar News, your go-to source for the latest updates on currency exchange rates, revaluation news, and insights into the Iraqi dinar. Stay informed and ahead of the curve with our timely analysis and breaking developments. The progression of monetary reform, particularly around the idea of currency revaluation. It contrasts the pace at which two individuals, presumably financial analysts or insiders, are observing the unfolding of these events. One of them, described as turning the page a little slower, implies that their perspective on the timeline is more gradual or cautious compared to the speaker's. The speaker seems confident that these reforms will occur sooner, emphasizing that they do not believe the process will extend into the next year. In fact, the speaker finds it impossible for this to continue beyond the current time frame, implying they have a strong conviction based on current events or developments. The lifting of such sanctions suggests a major shift, freeing the country to participate more fully in international trade and finance. This development, according to the speaker, is a strong indicator that the process of monetary reform is reaching its conclusion, reinforcing the idea that the currency revaluation is imminent. Monetary reforms, including currency revaluation, are complex processes involving significant changes to a country's financial system. These reforms often aim to stabilize the economy, control inflation, or correct imbalances in the monetary system. The timing and speed of these reforms can vary greatly depending on multiple factors, including economic conditions, political stability, and the readiness of financial institutions. Certainly. Expanding the paragraph into a detailed 5,000-word essay involves breaking down the concepts into broader contexts, historical backgrounds, and various perspectives. Here's an expanded version, considering the ideas you provided comprehensive analysis of the perspectives on monetary reform and currency revaluation, a nuanced debate about the timing and implementation of monetary reforms, particularly focusing on currency revaluation. This topic has generated significant interest, particularly among financial analysts, policymakers, and the general public. The discussion reflects two contrasting viewpoints on the progression of these reforms and the anticipated timeline. The core of the debate revolves around the pace of these changes and the public's preparedness for them. The pace of monetary reforms, including currency revaluation, are complex processes involving significant changes to a country's financial system. These reforms often aim to stabilize the economy, control inflation, or correct imbalances in the monetary system. The timing and speed of these reforms can vary greatly depending on multiple factors, including economic conditions, political stability, and the readiness of financial institutions. We see a dichotomy between two individuals' perspectives on the pace of monetary reform. One individual, described as turning the page a little slower, appears to be more cautious and gradual in their approach. This perspective might reflect a more conservative view on how quickly changes should be implemented, perhaps due to concerns about economic stability, public reaction, or the logistical challenges of such reforms. On the other hand, the speaker expresses a sense of urgency and confidence that the reforms will occur sooner rather than later. This viewpoint suggests that the speaker believes the reforms are imminent and that any delay extending into the next year is improbable. The speaker's conviction is based on current developments and events, which they interpret as strong indicators that the process is nearing its conclusion. Understanding currency revaluation. Currency revaluation is a process by which a country's currency value is adjusted relative to other currencies. This can be done either by increasing or decreasing the currency's value. Revaluation typically occurs in response to various economic factors, such as inflation, trade imbalances, or shifts in economic policy. The process of currency revaluation involves multiple stages, including policy formulation, public communication, and implementation. Governments and financial institutions must carefully manage these stages to avoid market disruptions and ensure the stability of the financial system. The timing of revaluation is critical, as premature or delayed actions can have significant economic consequences. The role of monetary reform education. The concept of monetary reform education, which refers to efforts by governments or financial institutions to prepare the public for upcoming changes in the financial system. This education often involves public information campaigns, commercials, and other outreach efforts aimed at informing people about the upcoming reforms and their potential impact. Effective monetary reform education is essential for several reasons. Public awareness. Educating the public helps ensure that individuals understand the nature of the changes, why they are occurring, and how they might be affected. This can help mitigate confusion and anxiety about the reforms. Market stability. Proper education can contribute to market stability by preventing misinformation and reducing the likelihood of panic or speculative behavior. When people are informed about the changes, they are more likely to make rational decisions. Policy support. A well-informed public is more likely to support the reforms and cooperate with the associated policies. Education can help build trust in the authorities and the reform process. The mention of commercials or public information campaigns indicates that efforts are underway to prepare the public for the forthcoming changes. This signals that the reforms are in their final stages, and the focus is shifting towards ensuring that the public is ready and informed. The two perspectives described in the paragraph represent different approaches to understanding and managing monetary reform. The cautious approach, characterized by turning the page a little slower, reflects a mindset focused on gradual change and risk management. This perspective may prioritize careful planning and the avoidance of sudden disruptions, which can be particularly important in sensitive economic contexts. In contrast, the speaker's perspective emphasizes a sense of immediacy and certainty. This viewpoint suggests a belief that the reforms are imminent and that extending the process into the next year is unlikely. The speaker's confidence may be based on recent developments, policy signals, or other indicators that they interpret as evidence of a near-term implementation. Both perspectives have their merits and limitations. The cautious approach may help prevent unintended consequences and ensure a smoother transition, but it may also lead to delays or missed opportunities. The more immediate perspective may drive faster action and capitalize on current momentum, but it carries the risk of insufficient preparation and potential instability. We see a dichotomy between two individuals' perspectives on the pace of monetary reform. One individual, described as turning the page a little slower, appears to be more cautious and gradual in their approach. This perspective might reflect a more conservative view on how quickly changes should be implemented, perhaps due to concerns about economic stability, public reaction, or the logistical challenges of such reforms. On the other hand, the speaker expresses a sense of urgency and confidence that the reforms will occur sooner rather than later. This viewpoint suggests that the speaker believes the reforms are imminent and that any delay extending into the next year is improbable. The speaker